Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I'd like to share a new perspective that completely changed how I think about learning English. For a long time, I was obsessed with one question. How is my accent? Every time I practiced speaking, I wanted to sound more American. I spent countless hours studying podcasts, watching California speakers, and mimicking their rhythm and pronunciation. But today, after listening to a Stanford podcast about language learning and communication, I realized something much more important. Accent is only one part of communication. Identity is the foundation. When we speak, people don't only hear our pronunciation, they hear our intention, they hear our confidence, they hear our values. Most importantly, they hear whether we genuinely want to connect with them. That insight reminded me of 4 experiences in my own life. The first was my own English learning journey. When I speak English, I almost feel like I'm becoming another version of myself. I feel freer, calmer, and more open than when I speak my native language. My family once listened to one of my English recordings and asked, "Is that really your voice?" That moment made me realize that language can become part of our identity. However, I also noticed that sometimes I spend too much energy trying to sound perfect. I focused so much on pronunciation that I forgot my real goal, to communicate ideas clearly. A beautiful voice without a meaningful message is like a singer with perfect technique but no emotion. People remember authenticity much longer than perfection. The second experience happened during my time at a law firm. One senior lawyer spoke beautiful British English. His pronunciation was almost flawless. But some international colleagues feel that his communication became overly complicated. Instead of delivering the key message directly, he sometimes used complex language that made understanding more difficult. That experience taught me an important lesson. Excellent pronunciation does not automatically create excellent communication. Clarity always comes first. The second experience completely impressed me. I attended a legal workshop with lawyers from different countries. One Chinese lawyer spoke with a noticeable Chinese accent. However, every sentence he spoke was logical, organized, and incredibly easy to understand. His communication was powerful because his ideas were clear. After the workshop, I told him how much I admire him. I even asked whether he could become my mentor. He smiled and sighed. We can learn from each other. That humility impressed me even more than his professional success. The final express came from a Hollywood storytelling workshop. The speaker, a UCLA professor, naturally spoke with a California accent that felt familiar with me. During the workshop, he played an AI-generated video in which the characters spoke with British accents. Without thinking, he laughed and sighed, "Wow, British English sounds so strange." That small comment made me realize something fascinating. Even experienced communicators can have unconscious accent biases. We all naturally felt more comfortable with voices that sound familiar to us. But as communicators, We should be aware of those biases instead of letting them control our judgment. After reflecting on these experiences, I came to 3 conclusions. First, before thinking about your accent, think about your identity. Ask yourself, who am I in this conversation? If you're speaking as an entrepreneur, focus on solving problems. If you're speaking as a lawyer, focus on clarity and trust. If you're speaking as a storyteller, focus on emotion and connection. Second, don't let accent become your goal. Let it become your tool. Authenticity and clarity should always grow together. Finally, I believe every English learner should balance 2 important dimensions. The first is intelligibility. Can people understand your pronunciation? The second is comprehensibility. Can people easily understand your ideas? I imagine these 2 qualities as 2 dancers. If one moves without the other, the performance feels incomplete. But when we move together in harmony, communication becomes elegant, natural, and memorable. Thank you so much for listening today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever worried about your accent? Or have you discovered that communication is about much more than pronunciation? See you in the next episode.